we have already seen the concept of random variable, and we have also seen that what is the definition of random process. Okay, so if you recall the definition of random process, we have discussed that whenever your random variable will be the function of time, then that random variable itself can be named as random process, right? So for example, you define a random variable by a common notation, that is Roman letter X, then the random process can be defined as a function of time, right? If the random variable is a function of time, then this can be named as random process. And we have also seen that the noise, sorry, the noise can be a very good example of random process, right? So noise in wireless communication can be a good example for random process. Okay, and then we have also discussed what can be the popular classifications, and we have seen that we can have two types of a random process. One can be a stationary random process, and the second one can be non-stationary random process. So we again can be said that random process can be classified as non-stationary as well as stationary random process, right? So if we talk about stationary random process and if we talk about non-stationary random process, we know that non-stationary random process can be termed as that when the random process is not constant with respect to time, right? And whenever we are talking about a stationary random process, it means that this random process is constant with respect to time, or we can say that it is not varying with respect to time, right? And normally what we need or what we desire, that in wireless communication we should have the stationary random process, because the analysis of a stationary random process can be easy or can be more predictable in comparison to non-stationary random process. Although in some examples of wireless communication, there may be the case of non-stationary random process, that your communication system can be classified as non-stationary random process. It is possible, but the analysis of that random process will be definitely complex. But if we talk about a stationary random process, then the analysis of that random process can be little bit easy, or you can say that the outcomes are more predictable whenever we are having our communication system as a stationary random process, right? So now we have seen all these introduction regarding random process. Now to understand random process in detail, we can see some examples, and we know that if we measuring the temperature of a particular area, then it can be definitely it can be a continuous random variable, and definitely that temperature cannot be constant throughout the day or throughout day and night in that area. So you can also say that the variation of temperature is a function of time, so it can also be named as random process, right? So for example, if you study a random process, for example, this can be a simple graph you plotted, right? And for example, it is a temperature measurement. It is a temperature measurement, and because the temperature measurement cannot be constant throughout all the times, right? So you can say that this can be the axis of time, right? Then you can say that the variation of this type of variation can be named as random process, right? So you can define this as a random variable x, and this random variable is a function of time, right? And you can also state that, for example, you are measuring this temperature for a particular day. So for example, this is a graph for Monday. Then you can also draw a graph for any other day. For example, this is a graph for Tuesday, right? Temperature measurement of Tuesday. Then you can define this xt comma zeta I, and zeta I can be defined as the day, right? Day can be from Monday to Saturday or Sunday, right? These can be the possibilities of these days. So you can measure the temperature of each and every day, and this temperature can be a function of time because temperature measurement cannot be constant. So it can be a very well suited example of random process, right? So whenever you want to study such kind of random variables, you have to study the characteristics of random process, right? Now, see, it is very important that random process is nothing but a random variable. This we have to understand very carefully. That random process is nothing but a random variable, but this type of random variable is nothing but a function of time, right? So if any random, if you see the graph of any random process, and if you pick a particular time, at that time you will get a random variable, right? Because random variable varying according to the time, then this whole thing can be named as random process. But if you pick that in that random process, if you pick a particular time, then you will get the value of random variable. For example, what I mean to say, for example, if you sample this graph, so for example, it is t is equal to t1, right? It is t is equal to t1. Then at t is equal to t1, this value, this particular dot, this value, it is a random variable. It is a random variable, right? Because this random variable varies according to the time, then this whole thing can be named as random process. And if you sample this random process at a particular time, you will get the value of random variable. So you can say that at t is equal to t1, this whole random process can be simply defined as, for example, x of t1. X of t1 means the random variable at time t1, and similarly you can have some other point also. For example, this is t2, right? So this can be again defined as a random variable x of t2, right? Or in general, you can also say that this x of t1 can be defined as x1, or this x of t2 can be defined as x2, right? So you can have to define this whole process, this whole random process. You can have n possible random variables, right? Because you can have n possible time instants. You know? If you see that this graph is varying with respect to time, then how many time values are possible? There can be n values. There can be many values, right? So for example, if you illustrate, if you want to study this whole random process, then you can study this whole random process as a n time function, right? So as for example, this is nth time, and this value can be defined as x of tn, and this x of tn can be defined as xn in terms of random variable. So you can say that x1, x2, and xn, right? All these random variable can be analyzed if you want to analyze this random process, right? So what I mean to say that random process can be analyzed with the help of random variables, right? Now we need, whenever you want to analyze random process, you are in need of all the random variables at all the times, right? So now this is a very important thing, that if you want to study any random process completely, then you need all the random variables associated to that random process, which is definitely a complex task, right? Because it is not easy that to find out all the random variables at all the times, right? But it is required. Whenever you want to study a random process completely, you need all these random variables. Then only you can analyze this random process, because you know all the mathematics related to random variables, right? So ultimately, to study the random process, you have to know, or you got to know the value of random variable. So once you got these all random variables, you can study with the help of these random variables, you can study the whole random process, and you can define or find out many things, right? So this is an example of a simple random process. Now, for example, we know that if you want to study the random process completely, we need all these random variables which are impossible values, right? So sometimes it might be possible to analyze all these random variables, and sometimes it might not be possible that we can analyze all these random variables. So, and in that case, we can analyze few random variables. So we will denote, or we can define these kind of things as first order analysis, second order analysis, third order analysis, and nth order analysis of random variables, right? If you use one random variable for the purpose of analysis, it can be named as first order analysis of random process. If you use two random variables for the purpose of analysis, it can be named as second order analysis of random process. Similarly, if you use all these n random variables for the purpose of analysis, you can say that it is nth order random process analysis, right? So we should know that up to how much extent we can analyze any random process, right? Up to how much extent or up to how much variable I can analyze the random process. This is very important. And it is one line truth that if you want to analyze a random process completely, then you need all the random variables or analysis of all the random variables, right? So I hope this point is clear to you. Now, for example, if you want to do the analysis, I can do the analysis of first order as well as second order as well as nth order, right? So for example, if I am doing analysis of first order analysis of random process, it means we are using only a single random variable, right? It means that we are using only a single random variable, right? So what we can write down with the help of random variable, we can write down the CDF or the PDF value of this with the help of any random variable. Means either we can write down the cumulative distribution function or we can write down the probability density function with the help of random variable. So if you want to write down the CDF value, then what we can write down? We can write down it like f.
सर नीचे विजिबल नहीं है.
Sorry. I should write here. यहाँ तो visible होगा. So for example, this is our random variable xt1, right? And we can define this xt1 as x1 also. So how we can write down this CDF of this random variable? First order CDF of the random variable. मैंने आपको बताया था शायद पहले. How we can write down the CDF? That CDF can be write down f x1. X1 is our random variable, right? In bracket, small x1 is the value of this random variable, right? And definitely this value is at time t1. So this can be the CDF value f x1 comma t1, right? Because this value x1 is defined at the time t1 is 10, right? So this is our random variable x1, which can take the value small x1, right? So capital letter x1 is always the random variable, and small x1 is the value that random variable can take. This is the method how we define the CDF, and we have already seen in the previous class how we can write down the value of CDF, right? Similarly, you can define the PDF also. So if you want to define the PDF, first order PDF, then how we can write down the PDF? The PDF can be written down, for example, small p x1 comma t1. This can be the value of PDF. So this is first order CDF and first order PDF, right? First order CDF and first order PDF. Similarly, if I should similarly, the second order.
So that PDF is a probability distribution function, and the CDF is
probability density function.
Probability distribution and CDF. So CDF क्या है?
CDF is probability density function, and CDF cumulative distribution function, right? Okay.
Okay, sir.
Now second order, for second order analysis, how we can write down the CDF and PDF? Again, it is very simple. For second order analysis, we can write down f x1 x2, the value x1 x2 at time t1 comma t2. This is the second order CDF, right? And similarly, you can write down the second order PDF also. This is second order PDF of any random process, right? So these are second order CDF PDF. These are first order CDF PDF, and these we can written down with the help of the knowledge of random variables. Similarly, you can write down the distribution for nth order, right? Similarly, you can write down the distribution for nth order, right? So how we can write down the nth order distribution? I should rub this graph. Perhaps you made that graph in the copy. CDF. Similarly, the nth order PDF can be written as P of x1 x2 dash dash xn in bracket x1 x2 dash dash xn at time t1 t2 dash dash tn. This is nth order PDF. So we can write down the second order, nth order, first order CDF PDF values with the help of the graph of random process as well as the values of random variable of that random process, right? Now to do the further analysis of any random process, we should also know what the derived characteristics we got to know with the help of distribution function. आखिर डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन फंक्शन की हेल्प से हमको क्या मिल सकता है, राइट? सो डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन फंक्शन जो फर्स्ट ऑर्डर डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन फंक्शन होंगे, राइट, जो फर्स्ट ऑर्डर डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन फंक्शन होंगे, मैं कई बार यहाँ पर लिख देता हूँ, फर्स्ट ऑर्डर डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन फंक्शन होंगे फॉर एग्जांपल f x1 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 comma t1, right? This is first order CDF, and px1 x1 comma t1, this is first order PDF. So I should also write down here, this is first order CDF and PDF, right? So if you calculate the first order values with the help of first order PDF, you can derive the value of mean of the random process, right? Means अगर आपको first order PDF पता है, then you can calculate the value of mean of that random process. So this is the derived characteristics. We know the value of PDF, and with the help of that PDF, we can find out the value of mean, right? This is established relationship. So we can use that established concept to find out mean, and the value of mean can be defined as mu of that random variable capital X, and it can be written as integration. It can also be defined as E of xt, and the value can be written as, the value of this mean can be written as integration x PDF px x comma t dx, right? With the help of this integration, we can solve the value of mean, and this value is what? It is a first order PDF of any random process. So if we know the first order PDF, it means that we can calculate the value of mean of that random process. This is the derived, right? Okay. Now, if we know the value of second order PDF, right? Write down, if we know the value of second order PDF, then what we can find out? We can find out the value of autocorrelation, right? So write down, if we know the value of second order PDF, then we can find out the value of autocorrelation, and the value of autocorrelation can be simply written as Rx1, X2, T1, T2. It can be defined as expected value of X of T1 into X of T2 conjugate, right? And this can be defined as double integration x1 x2 t x1 x2 x1 x2 comma t1 t2 dx1 dx2. Oh, ये तो देख ही नहीं रहा है. It can be written as double integration x1 x2 then p x1 x2 x1 x2 t1 t2 dx1 dx2, right? Okay, so this is the value of autocorrelation. It is again a derived characteristic for the second order PDF. So if for any random process we know the value of second order PDF, then we can find out the value of autocorrelation, right? So these are two derived characteristics for us, and with the help of these derived characteristics we can further analyze any random process, right? So you have noted it down or not? Bolo beta?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Now understand the things carefully. We know the value of second order PDF or first order PDF. So if we know the value of first order PDF, it means that we can calculate the value of mean. And if we know the value of second order PDF, it means that we can calculate the value of autocorrelation. Now, what we want to discuss? We want to discuss the types of random process, right? And we know that there can be two types. This we have already seen. One can be non-stationary, right? And the second one can be stationary random process, right? Stationary random process. And what we want, that our process should be stationary, so that the analysis of that random process can be easy or can be more predictable, right? So for example, again I should redraw that figure, that example, right? For example, this is the temperature measurement again for a particular place, right? And what we can do, we can find out the values of random variable at t is equal to t1, right? At t is equal to t2, and at t is equal to tn, right? This we have already seen, right? These can be the values, and how we can define at t is equal to t1, the random variable can be defined at xt1, and this xt1 can be written as x1. Similarly, at t is equal to t2, the random variable can be defined at xt2, and this xt2 can be written as x2 dash dash. Here we can write down xn, which is equal to x of tn, right? This is the random process, right? Now, if this random process is stationary, what it means, right? If this random process is stationary, it means that it should not change when we change the value of time, right? That is the meaning of stationarity, right? Stationarity means the random process is a function. It is not a function of time, or rather we should say it is the constant, right? It should have the constant value, and it should not have any impact whenever we are changing the time, right? So for example, if we are changing this random process, or if we are shifting this random process by a certain time gap, or with a constant time difference, then the values should not be changed. And what the values? The values of CDF and PDF should not change, right? The value of distribution function should not change. For example, we shift this whole process. For example, we shift this whole process like this. right? Like this.
सर हम ये कह सकते हैं कि ये
So you can write it down even. मैं इसको रब कर दूंगा. You can write it down. The value of CDF and PDF should not change with respect to time. With respect to time change, then the process can be named as stationary random process. Can be named as stationary random process. This is important, right? The stationary random process. So this can be the definition. The value of CDF and PDF should not change with respect to time change. Then the process can be named as stationary random process. And what is the meaning of this? The meaning of this is that when the same random process is shifted by a certain time constant, then the values of CDF PDF should not be changed, right? This is the important thing. So for example, we shift this random process, then again we are taking the sample of this random process, right? So for example, this was time t1, right? And we shifted time t1 by a constant term. So for example, we are shifted this time by a constant term c. C is a constant term, right? Constant time by which I am shifting this whole random process. So if this is t1, then this time t1 can be written as t1 plus c, right? This time t1 can be written as t1 plus c. And for example, the random variable can be written as x of t1 plus c. And for example, the random variable can be denoted as x1 prime, right? This is x1. Here I am writing down x1 prime, right? Similarly, for time t2, right? This value will be t2 plus c, right? So here this value is t2 plus c. It means the random variable will be x of t2 plus c, and we can write down it like x2 prime. Here we are having x2, here we are having x2 prime, right? Yeah, I have written down. This is a sign of prime, right? Similarly, this can be written as tn plus c, and if this is tn plus c, then this random variable can be written as x of tn plus c, and then this random variable can also be named as xl prime, right? Now this is the situation, and if this is a stationary random process, then what is the meaning? That if we write the joint CDF or PDF, right? If we write joint CDF or PDF, right? So I should rather write down the PDF rather than CDF, because with the help of PDF we have derived the characteristic of mean and autocorrelation. So I should write down the PDF. PDF can be written as P of x1 x2 dash dash xn in bracket x1 x2 dash dash xn comma time t1 t2 dash dash tn, right? This can be the PDF, joint PDF for this random process, right? And now if we shift this random process from this place to this place, then the PDF, modified PDF can be written as P of x1 prime x2 prime dash dash xn prime in bracket x1 x2 dash dash xn, and for time it can be t1 plus c t2 plus c dash dash tn plus c, right? Sorry, I am speaking x1 x2 dash dash xn semicolon, right? It is a semicolon, sign of semicolon, right? t1 plus c t2 plus c and dash dash tn plus c, right? Dash dash tn plus c. So this can be the joint PDF for this random process, and this can be the joint PDF for the modified random process, right? And if this process is a stationary, what is the meaning? That these both the PDF should be same, right? These both the PDF should be same. If we're talking about the stationary random process, this is the condition, right? This both random process should be same. You got the point? If any process is stationary random process. Now, if this joint PDF is same, it means that we can say that the first order PDF distribution should be same, the second order PDF distribution should be same, dash dash nth order distribution should be same. This is the meaning of this expression, right? Because this is nth order joint PDF function. This is nth order joint PDF, right? So nth order joint PDF should be same, and it should not change with respect to the change in time, right? So what is the meaning of this line? The meaning of this line is that the first order PDF as well as the second order PDF dash dash right? I should write rather than here. The first order PDF, second order PDF dash dash nth order PDF should not change, then the process can be named as stationary process. I hope this is visible to you, right? First order PDF, second order PDF, nth order PDF should not change for a random process, then only the process can be named as stationary process. Okay. Now, the important thing is what? Important thing is that it will not be easy to find out or to verify all the orders of random process. It will not be easy, right, for us. And see, if we can prove it that first order PDF is not changing, second order PDF is not changing, and nth order PDF is not changing, then it is very good, right? It is very good, and then we can strictly say that the process will be surely stationary, right? Process will be surely stationary because all the nth order PDFs are not changing with respect to time, right? So we can say that in stationary process, we can say that the process is strictly stationary or strict sense stationary if all the PDF are same or are not changing, right? You got the point or not?
Yes, sir.
So
Yes,
the
sir.
process can be strict sense stationary or strictly stationary if all these PDFs are not changing. But the calculation is not easy. It is not easy to verify for each and every random process that we are finding out all the nth order distributions, and we are proving it that all the nth order distributions are not changing, right? So it is little bit complex to analyze all these nth order PDFs. So what we do, right? We basically find out the value of first order and second order PDF, and we verify these first order and second order PDF for any random process. And if these first order and second order random process are coming that they are not changing with time, then we can say that the process is weak stationary. The process is weak stationary, right? The process is weak stationary. And sometimes it is also known as wide sense stationary. Have you listened to these two terms, strict sense stationary and wide sense stationary? बोलो बेटा.
Yes, sir.
Very good, Kaja. So the thing is that how we can define strict sense stationary and how we can define weak sense stationary or wide sense stationary. If all the nth order PDFs are not changing or they are constant, then we can say that strict sense stationary random process. And if we are verifying only for first order and second order PDF, then the process can be named as wide sense stationary, because we are just verifying few conditions, right? We are not verifying all the nth conditions, right? So that's why we can say, so I'm running this graph. So now we can simply say that if we are verifying only for first order PDF and second order PDF, then we can say that the process is wide sense stationary. So what is wide sense stationary? What is wide sense stationary? When only first order PDF and okay, my voice is coming, beta. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So for first order PDF, as per that figure, what we can write down? We can write down that Px x comma t should be same as Px prime x comma t plus c, because we are talking only for first order. That means only single random variable is there. That right? Okay. So these two PDFs should be same. If this is true, then the system can be wide sense stationary, right? So for if this is true, then if we write, if it should be true for all the time. It should be true for all the time, right? And if it is found, it should be true. It should be true for all the times. All the times. So what we can write down, that it should also be true at c is equal to minus t. If I'm writing now c is equal to minus t, then it should be true, right? And if c is equal to minus t, then the distribution function can be written as px x comma t. It should be equal to px prime x comma. That's it. Because when you will put c is equal to minus t, then t and t will be cancelled out. So here you will not get the value of time, right? Now what it tells us, what is the conclusion of this discussion? That we know that whenever we are talking about the first order PDF, the derived characteristic can be mean, right? What we can calculate with the help of first order PDF, we can calculate the value of mean, right? We can calculate the value of mean. And if we see the distribution function, what we can say that if we are talking about first order PDF, then this first order PDF calculation is coming independent of time, right? The calculation is coming out to be independent of time. So this is the conclusion, right? This is a conclusion. If first order PDF are same, it means that the random process or the distribution is independent of time. And if the distribution is independent of time, then the mean will also be independent of time, or mean will be constant, right? So mean will be constant, right? Or it should be independent of time. Mean should be independent of time. So what I mean to say, for example, any random process is given to us. What we'll do, we'll calculate the value of mean for that random process. And if the value of mean is coming out to be a constant value, or it is coming out to be independent of time, then we can say that the process can be wide sense stationary, right? Similarly, if we analyze the second order PDF, right? If we analyze the second order PDF, what we can write down? In the second order PDF, you can write down that the PDF can be written as Px1, x2, x1, x2, t1, t2, right? This is the second order PDF. Similarly, for that shifted version of the random process, we can write down that T of x1 prime, x2 prime, and x1, x2, t1 plus c, comma t2 plus c, right? t1 plus c, comma t2 plus c. Okay, so this should be true for second order PDF if our process is stationary. Now we know that what is the derived characteristic? The derived characteristics is autocorrelation, Rx t1 comma t2. ये हमें भी थोड़ी देर पहले देखा था. So if it is true, right? If it is true, then it should be true for all the times, right? So it should be true for all the times. So at c is equal to minus of t1. For example, it should also be true at c is equal to minus of t1. If we put the value of c is equal to minus t1, then what will happen to this distribution function? T x1, x2, x1, x2, comma t1, t2 should be equal to T of x1 prime, x2 prime, x1, x2, and if you put the value of c is equal to minus of t1 here, then it will be 0. This value will be 0. And t2 plus c, when you put c is equal to minus of t1 here, then it can be come out to be t2 minus t1. T2 minus t1. Now again, what we can conclude, that if we analyze second order PDF distribution, right, for the stationary process, then it should be the function of the difference of time, not the function of time, right? So for example, you can write down that t2 minus t1 is tau. It is a delay. Tau is delay, right? So you can write down that it should be true that px1, x2, x1, x2, comma t1, t2 should equal to p of x1 prime, x2 prime, x1, x2, and tau. Right? And tau. So this distribution function is the function of tau, not the function of time. This is important conclusion. So what it means? The derived feature is what? Autocorrelation, right? So derived feature was autocorrelation, that is R x1 x2. So R x1 x2 should not be the function of time, it should be the function of delay. So basically R x1 and x2 should be defined as t1 comma t2 should be defined.
Please नीचे मत.
Oh, sorry. मैं भूल जा रहा हूँ, आज मेरी आदत नहीं है, पहली बार ले रहा हूँ मैं लेक्चर. Derived feature was the autocorrelation, so it can be written as R x1 x2 comma t1 t2 should be written as, or can be written as R x1 x2 and is a function of tau, right? So if the autocorrelation is a function of tau and if the mean is constant, then any random process can be named as wide sense stationary. So we can again write down that if mean is constant and autocorrelation is a function of tau delay, then this process can be named as WSS process, which is named as weak sense stationary or wide sense stationary random process, right? So these are the two conditions. If these two conditions are satisfied for any random process, then that random process can be named as wide sense stationary random process. And in most of the practical communication system, it will be sufficient to derive only these two conditions, right? Because it is not practically possible to derive all these conditions to prove that any system is strictly stationary. right? So it will not be mathematically so easy, right? So at the place of proving any system triple S, that is strict sense stationary, we normally define the process as WSS, which can be named as wide sense stationary. And if we do so, if we prove any random process as a wide sense stationary, it will be sufficient that you can assume that the process is stationary and you can do your all analysis, right? So today we have discussed the stationary process and we have discussed the types of stationary process, and we know that there can be two types: strict sense stationary and weak sense stationary or wide sense stationary. And we have also seen what are the conditions, that how we can say that any process is strict sense stationary, or how we can say that any process can be wide sense stationary, right? And it should be very clear that if any process is, it should be very clear that if any process is strict sense stationary, right? If any process is strict sense stationary, then it is very obvious, then that process will be wide sense stationary. अगर कोई process strict sense stationary है, तो वो WSS तो होगा ही. Why? Because you have already proved for all the nth PDFs. Then अगर सारे PDF के लिए प्रूफ किया है, तो फर्स्ट और सेकंड ऑर्डर PDF के लिए तो प्रूफ किया ही होगा, राइट? तो कोई प्रोसेस अगर ट्रिपल एस है, तो वो WSS जरूर होगा. लेकिन अगर कोई प्रोसेस WSS है, राइट, कोई प्रोसेस WSS है, तो कोई जरूरी नहीं है कि वो प्रोसेस ट्रिपल एस भी हो. Is it true? Because I have only verified for two orders, first order PDF and second order PDF. We are not talking about third order to nth order, right? So how we can be sure that all these PDFs should be same, right? Or all these PDFs will come out to be same, right? I cannot be sure. So I cannot say that I have proved that any process is WSS, then it will be strict sense stationary. But yes, it is true, if any process is strict sense stationary, then it will be WSS process. Except one, right? Except one, and that one process is a Gaussian process, right? Right? Except one. Write down except Gaussian process, right? Gaussian process is WSS process. If you prove it, right? If you prove it that Gaussian process is WSS process, then it can, in the Gaussian process, that it will be, but except Gaussian process, it is not true. It's a strict sense stationary. If any process is a strict sense stationary, then the process will be wide sense. If any process is wide sense stationary, then it is not true always that the process will be strict sense stationary. But if your process is Gaussian process, then it can be true, right? Means in Gaussian process, if you prove the process is WSS, it can also be true that the process will be strict sense stationary or triple S. Hope you got this lecture. In the next lecture, we'll try to solve a simple example of a random process where I will give you an example that, and you have to prove that the process is wide sense stationary. Okay, so we'll also see mathematically how we can prove any process is wide sense stationary. Although we know that whenever we got any random process, to prove that random process wide sense stationary, what we have to do, we have to find out the value of mean, and we have to prove that the mean is constant, and we have to find out the value of autocorrelation, and we have to prove that the value of autocorrelation is a function of delay, not a function of time, right? If we do so, if we prove these two conditions, then we can say that the process is wide sense stationary. Okay, so आज इतना ही रखते हैं. We can stop here, right? In the next lecture, we will try to see that numerical. Okay, beta?
Okay.
Yes, sir.